rheumatoid arthritis has ruined my life. Back in my day when I was young, that rooster wake me up every morning, no problem. Now I got my joint stiffness, my inflammation. Man, life is just a burden now. It wasn't always this way. I used to pick my own tomatoes on the farm, but I can't no more because of rheumatoid arthritis. And then HAPND came along. It was amazing how HAPND allowed me to be a real farmer again.
I never thought I was going to be a victim. In high school, I was a stud athlete on our ultimate frisbee team, and I always imagined playing with my kids later in life. But then, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and life was never the same. There was so much chronic inflammation, my hands became deformed. And then, HAPND came along. My son thought I was the coolest dad out there catching the frisbee. I could even sprint.
HAPND has revolutionized my life.
HAPND has allowed me to
be happier.
HAPND can lower your ability to fight infections including tuberculosis. Before treatment, get tested for TB and tell your doctor if you are prone to infection. See your doctor immediately involving blood, liver, and nervous system problems. Serious allergic reactions and new and worsening heart failure may occur. Because HAP is an injection, side effects may include, but are not limited to nausea, vomiting, and skin reactions. Don't start HAPND if you have an infection. Start today and be happier.
Rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease that destroys the joints of the body through the degradation of the hyperplastic synovial lining. This leads to synovitis, or inflammation of the synovial lining cells. There are many types of immune cells in the synovium, such as neutrophils, dendritic cells, B cells, T cells, and macrophages. Rheumatoid arthritis begins when the immune system recognizes its own cells or cell cells as foreign molecules. At this time, monocytes and lymphocytes migrate from circulation into the synovium and also recruit other lymphocytes to this area by chemoattractants. When these cells bind with antigens, plasma cells and memory B cells are produced. At the same time, T cells are activated when self-antigens are presented by antigen-presenting cells. When these T cells are activated, the macrophages release cytokines such as TNF-alpha and interleukin-1. TNF-alpha will then recruit neutrophils to the inflamed area.
TNF-alpha is a cytokine that is released when autoantigen-presenting dendritic cells patrolling the body enter into the synovial lining and interact and bind with self-antigen-presenting cells in the synovium. TNF-alpha triggers a cascade of signals that causes many different reactions. First, for example, TNF-alpha initiates the recruitment of monocytes. These monocytes release interleukin-1, which acts as a form of co-stimulation to activate T cells, causing unregulated replication of fibroblast-like synoviocytes, and helps transform certain monocytes into osteoclasts, causing bone damage. Second, at the same time, when additional TNF-alpha molecules and IL-1 come into contact with fibroblast-like synoviocytes, it causes excess replication and secretion of other cytokines and proteases, which act to destroy the articular cartilage found in the joints. Thirdly, TNF-alpha and IL-8 contribute to autoreactive immune cells, as described above, to migrate through the endothelium and the synovial lining. Therefore, the removal of TNF-alpha from the localized site of rheumatoid arthritis will remove the activation, recruitment, and migration of immune cells that will destroy bone and cartilage in the affected joints.
HAPND is a 1.5 micron particle tested in the lab that has TNF-alpha antibodies coupled to it. In order for the drug to be effective, it must not immediately enter the bloodstream. To accomplish this, we directly inject HAPND into the synovial fluid of the joint. This process is effective because the synovial lining and capsule act as a barrier between the joint and the circulatory system. Therefore, the drug remains inside the joint and does not go through the entire body. Now that we have HAPND localized, the Fc receptors on the TNF antibodies recognize the TNF-alpha antigen and bind to it. From lab results, there is a specific concentration necessary to soak up the majority of excess TNF-alpha that was released in the immune response in the joint. Now that the drug has accomplished its purpose, over time it will enter the circulatory system through simple diffusion. This diffusion will not be an issue because the drug does not have any more receptors to bind to the other TNF. Overall, HAPND has accomplished its end in defeating the debilitating autoimmune disease, rheumatoid arthritis.